Germany's likely next chancellor has begun efforts to form a government. Friedrich Merz's Conservatives won Sunday's election and are hoping to form a coalition with the Social Democrats. SPD co-head and parliamentary party leader Lars Klingbeil is leading the talks for the Social Democrats. The two sides are hoping to reach a swift agreement on issues such as defence spending and controlling illegal migration, with the aim of forming a new government before the Easter holidays in roughly 6 weeks from now. And our political correspondent Matthew Moore has more on that. Matthew, what can we expect today?
Well, this is the exploratory talks. This is the initial talks before the coalition negotiations really get underway. And this is about getting to know one another. Although a lot of these people already do know each other, this is about just seeing if there's enough goodwill, if there's common ground and trust to go into those coalition talks. We expect the initial talks will take 2 to 3 hours. This morning there's been leaders from across Germany arriving here who will be part of those negotiations. And it's really not a foregone conclusion, and that's what the Social Democrat leader, Lars Klingbeil, has been trying to stress, that although Friedrich Merz has ruled out a coalition with the Alternative for Germany party, which means really he's only got one partner that he can negotiate with, and that's the Social Democrats, he's saying it's not a foregone conclusion that we will go into government with the Christian Democrats.
Now, what are the key issues these two parties differ about?
The big issues that are going to be in these negotiations going forward, I think it's clear for everyone, is going to be migration. That is the issue that Friedrich Merz really campaigned on. That's the centre-right Christian Democrat leader, Friedrich Merz, who said he wanted permanent border controls, returning asylum seekers at Germany's borders. The Social Democrats think that that is legally questionable. They're not in favour of that. So that will be a big issue in these talks. The other big issue is Germany's economy is in a dire state, and they both have different ideas about how to kick-start growth again. And the big issue in recent weeks here has been the issue of security and defence in Europe, and Germany is expected to lead the way on that. That's going to cost a lot of money. Potentially, the talk is some 200 billion euros could be needed for that. And so the question is, where does that come from? Does Germany break its debt rules, reform those debt rules so they can borrow a lot more money? So there's a lot on the table. And as just in the last few minutes, one of the leaders that came in from one of the governors, the state leaders in one of the eastern states in Germany came in. She's a Social Democrat, and she said that what was really important about these talks is that we learn from the mistakes of the last government and that we don't have permanent infighting, because she said that was damaging for democracy.
Now, you just mentioned that state leaders, German state leaders, are also part of these talks. What's the significance of that? What does that show?
Yeah, so it was quite interesting, actually, Gerhard, because this week the Christian Democrats, the centre-right party that is likely to lead the next government, they had posted a photo of their initial negotiating team, and it was just 6 men, and there was a bit of a backlash towards that. People saying, where are the women represented in your negotiating team? They had wanted to keep it at a six-person team, but because of that kind of backlash, they've expanded that, and there are now 2 women as part of their team, and that means that there are 9 people on either side who will be on around the negotiating table should it come to those coalitions. And as you say, time is of the essence. You know, they want to get this wrapped up by Easter. That is, by my reckoning, that's around 51 days, and there's a lot to negotiate. But it's really key that they have a representative of women and men and Eastern politicians and Western politicians from across the country, just to try and reflect the mood in the land.
DW political correspondent Matthew Moore there. Thank you very much, Matthew.